Today you are finally knowing that you're going to be back and playing because the lockout has ended. Can you talk a little bit about that, just what you've been doing and what it's been like to not know what was going to happen?
It's been pretty frustrating not knowing when the season would start, just because me and my teammates, we've been training. But now that we have a definitive date, it's definitely extra motivation to get working out and to just kind of have an end date in sight. So I'm very thankful that the whole situation's over. It's been frustrating with a lot of ups and downs, but we made it through and the lockout's going to end.
So what have you been doing with your time while you've had this break?
I've been doing a lot of different things. First is just working out. I spend a lot of time working out during the day. I try not to change too much in terms of my schedule. And then I've been doing a lot of different marketing things. So I started a YouTube channel, made a few videos there, and I started my nonprofit foundation called the Jeremy Lin Foundation. So we had our first event at Thanksgiving, and we're going to have another one during Christmas. So that's something that's very exciting for me as well. And then besides that, just hanging out with family and friends a lot and just spending quality time with them that I usually don't get.
Nice. So the foundation, tell me about what you're trying to accomplish there.
For the foundation, my whole goal is to use a platform that I've been blessed with by God, and to be able to try to impact other people. And a lot of people are, I have a strong desire to help with youth, especially underprivileged youth or homeless youth, and so that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. And so that's where I'm trying to go with it. And it's a young foundation, but we're just experimenting right now and seeing kind of what organizations we can partner with somewhere down the line.
Exciting. And how about playing? You said reconnecting with friends. Have you been? I heard you've been playing maybe in an amateur league that involves a bunch of ex-college players.
That's just for fun, because my high school coach Peter Diebenbrock has a team, and so my high school teammates, we all play on the same team, and it's just kind of a good reminder. It's just like flashing back to high school with all of us playing together again, and that's the main reason why I'm out there.
Let's talk a little bit about your Palo Alto roots and Palo Alto basketball roots in particular. You started out at the Y with your dad, and then moved on to NJB?
Yeah, I started at the YMCA, and around 5th grade I started playing NJB and AAU, and that was the first time that I had moved out of any league besides the YMCA, and from there it just kind of grew, and then into middle school and high school.
Can you talk a little bit about what lessons you learned in those various experiences?
I think growing up playing basketball in the Bay Area is just, at that time, being an Asian basketball player was very rare, and I was always the only Asian on my teams for the most part. And so it just taught me to kind of believe in myself and to believe in the talents that I feel like God has given me, and to not be intimidated by other people just simply based on their race. And so that was a lesson growing up. Another big lesson was just to learn humility. I was always one of the better players on my team, and so that fed my ego, and I always felt like I was the best player, or I didn't need that much help. And I broke my ankle my junior year, and that kind of changed everything. My whole perspective on basketball and on life in some ways. And after that incident, I realized, this game is a blessing and it's a gift, and at any minute, any moment, I could lose it for the rest of my life if I have some type of freak injury. So I kind of made a commitment to myself that I would change my attitude. I'll start listening to my coaches, and I'll start working harder.
How do you just decide to believe in yourself? What helped you to really do that in the face of a lot of obstacles?
Well, I think growing up, it was a gradual process. I was always intimidated. I was always, the smallest guy on the team. But it's just one of those things where as you play more and more basketball and you get more comfortable, then every time you have a good game, that confidence kind of grows and that belief kind of grows. And for me right now, it's different. Just I really try to stay focused on trusting in the perfect plan that God has for me, and just trusting in His sovereign will. And that's what I really focus on, and to know that even if I don't succeed or if I don't have a great season or a great game, I should be okay with that, and I'll be okay with that, because I know that, you know, I've seen in the course of my life that everything that happens for a reason, and God always brings it to perfection. And so that's just kind of the attitude that I try to adopt.
Not only are you, as the first Asian American or Chinese American, or we can talk about that, an early Asian player in the NBA, but you also are an Ivy League player in the NBA, which is an unusual phenomenon. And what's that been like for you, kind of culturally?
I mean, there's definitely an adjustment period in terms of culture, but I think for the most part it's not too bad. Just growing up in the U.S. and having most of my teammates grow up in the U.S. as well. Obviously, obviously they make fun of me a lot about being from Harvard, and you can't do anything wrong when you go to Harvard, because I'll hear about it.
You're known, from what I know, as a really smart player, and how do you see kind of your court intelligence translating to your other kinds of intelligence in the world?
That's interesting. I never thought about that. I'm actually not sure if there's a direct correlation, because I've seen really smart people who, you know, struggle on the court, or there's people who just get it on the court, just have great basketball IQ, and you know, they may not get it in some other area. And so I'm not really sure. I'm just thankful that you know, I can understand the game a little bit, and you know, that helps me as I play. And you know, that's just kind of something, not that I've necessarily honed or worked on. It's just something that's natural, it's instinctual, and you know, I can't necessarily take too much credit for that.
Would you say focus and kind of purpose has something to do with it in that sense? Because that's something that can help you, I think, in both realms.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, for me, I've been blessed with X amount of talent, but you know, that's going to take you so far. Everyone's blessed with, you know, X amount of talent, but then staying focused and staying driven and staying hungry, discipline, that allows you to kind of foster that growth and use the talents, and how much you reach, or how close you get to your potential is also, you know, indicative, you know, or based on how hard you work.
What do you do routinely that keeps you focused, grounded, and able to perform at the level you want?
Oh, I think, well, first and foremost is just my relationship with God. I think that's very important to me, and that brings a lot of structure and discipline into my life, just because, you know, I want to make sure I try to spend some time with God every day, whether it's, you know, reading the scriptures or praying. And I feel like when I do that consistently, I have a different, just like this supernatural peace about me and joy about me that gets me mentally ready for everything else I do, whether it's schoolwork when I was a student, or on the court, or even taking care of, you know, hanging out, my relationships, my attitude towards other people. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding the love of Jesus Christ will transform all aspects of my life, and I think that's the most important thing.
Is there anything that you would really like people to know?
I think this is kind of shown through my YouTube videos, but and I think it's a big reason why I started doing it. But I think when people see me on the court, or they see, you know, Asian American from Harvard, they see me more as a serious person, or a very serious and focused person. But I think off the court, I'm a complete different person. And so I think that's the vibe that I've been trying to share through, you know, whether it's, you know, social media or YouTube or whatever it may be, just to kind of show the other side of me.
How would you describe that other Jeremy Lin?
I mean, my friends call me, actually my parents call me just like a oversized kid. And I mean, that's true to some extent, and very always joking, and and usually the loudest, which no one ever really expects except for the people who know me really well or who grew up with me. And so, you know, I think that's why a lot when I was hearing that people thought I was really serious, or, you know, I was kind of shocked, but then I realized, oh, that makes sense, because when I'm on the court, I don't necessarily smile or show too much emotion.
You now have kind of a wonderful lineage of coaches. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So Doc Shepler is current coach at Pinewood. He was Diepenbrock's high school coach, and now he's my shooting coach. And so I've been working with him a lot throughout the off season, just on my technique and making my shot consistent and fluid. And so it's interesting to see, you know, the relationships grow in terms of having my high school coach, who I'm really close with, and then his high school coach now helping me as well.
Are you the first Asian American, Chinese American person to play in the NBA? Lots of different things on that, and tell me what you know about that. I
know that there was, I believe his name was Wat Misaka, was the first Asian American, official Asian American in like the 1940s or 1950s. And I know he was of Japanese descent, but I'm not sure, you know, whether he was a quarter or half Japanese or what it was. But, you know, I'm not too clear on the historical background of Asian Americans either. I just know that I'm here right now for a reason, and the more I can kind of break stereotypes on Asians and Asian Americans, the more I want to continue to do that, because I feel like Asians in general don't get the respect that we may deserve, whether it comes to sports, basketball, or whatever it might be.
When you are a trailblazer that way, sometimes people have an experience where somebody comes up to them and says, you know, I've changed in this way because of what you've done or what you've shown me. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, I just think, you know, there's sometimes people will write nice things and express that, but I think for me the biggest, you know, the biggest thing that I try to see is the reaction or the respect or the interaction that I have with a player before I play with them and after I play with them. And it's interesting to see, growing up, it was just like everyone on the other team always wanted to guard me, and then after the game, you know, they didn't want to guard me, or they wanted to like compliment me, or you know, this didn't always happen because I had plenty of bad games, but just a different level of respect, and the respect will never be given to me as an Asian American, for sure, on the court at least. And so it's kind of something that needs to be earned or proven to other people.
It sounds like it's spoken through action as much as anything.
Yeah. And I don't really talk much on the court. I never trash talk or anything, and so for me, I just try to focus on what I need to do and play. And you know, I'm not really even focused on changing other people's opinions or perceptions of me. I just try to make sure I play the right way. I mean, the one word that I could use to describe this past year is just thankfulness. I can't tell you how many times someone who I've never met has offered to do something for me and just go above and beyond to help me. I mean, my foundation was started by, you know, the paperwork, the legal work, all that was done just by someone who reached out and didn't ask for anything back. You know, this website, jeremylin.net, is, I mean, I'm not paying him. I've met him one time. He's doing everything on time, professional, and I just can't say enough of how thankful I am. And there's just, you know, more stories about how the Asian American community has kind of embraced me, and it's just given me even a stronger sense of pride to represent them and to be a part of that community. And so just very thankful, and thankful for the fans and the way they supported me, even through, you know, what I would say is a horrible rookie year on my part.